Good afternoon, Bay Nation. Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Bay. I'm your host, Mike Williams. In this episode, we're going to be going over Pigskin Pick'em against the spread. Basically, I'm going to be picking every game against the spread that is on ESPN's Pigskin Pick'em. Alright, starting at the top. We have the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Chicago Bears. Da Bears, da Bears, da Bears, da Bears, da Bears. The Bears are 2.5 point favorites in this one. Give me the Bengals. I actually thought Joe Burrow looked pretty solid. That offensive line didn't, but he looked fine. The receiving core was good. I definitely think this is going to be a close game with the Bears defensive line, but I actually think the Bengals can score in this game. Up next, we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans. The spread is negative 12.5 Browns. Give me the Browns in this one. I don't see Houston being able to keep up with the Browns, even without Odell Beckham. Then next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams versus the Indianapolis Colts. The spread is negative 3.5 Rams. Give me the Rams in this one. I loved what I saw last week. That defense is incredible, and Matthew Stafford is slinging the ball. I definitely think they get the win in this one. Next up, the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. Though I think the Dolphins are going to have a solid game. This should be back and forth, but I think the Bills pull it out, winning by more than 3.5. Next up, the New England Patriots versus the New York Jets. The Patriots are 5.5 point favorites in this one, and I actually think that they're going to cover. That defense is solid, and Bill Belichick can definitely take down a rookie. Hopefully they don't fumble it in the red zone at the end of the game again. My goodness. Come on, Damian Harris, you're killing me, Smalls. Then we have the San Francisco 49ers at 3.5 point favorites over the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles in this one. I liked what I saw out of Jalen Hurts last week, and the 49ers somehow let the Lions get back in that game. So I'm definitely going to take the Eagles with 3.5 points. I definitely think they can keep it within a field goal. Up next, we have the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do think that the Raiders played a great game against the Ravens, but I think that the Steelers defense is going to cause some problems, and I think that the Steelers are going to turn it around. Very close win against the Bills last week. I don't think it's that close against the Raiders. So give me the Steelers with 5.5. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints versus the Carolina Panthers. The Saints are 3.5 point favorites. Give me the Saints in this one. I actually think Jameis Winston looks pretty solid. Christian McCaffrey may be on the other side, but the Saints do have Alvin Kamara, and I definitely think that Jameis Winston can win this game by over a field goal. Plus, don't forget about that Saints defense. Up next, we have the Denver Broncos versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Denver Broncos are 6.5 point favorites. That's a pretty big spread. I do think that the Broncos win this game, but I think that the Jacksonville will cover the spread. Then we have the Minnesota Vikings versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are 4.5 point favorites in this one. Give me the Vikings. I like Arizona, and I do think that they're going to be good this year, but Minnesota had a rough game last week, and I think that they bounced back. This is probably going to be a high-scoring game, so I'm thinking I'm going to keep it a little closer than 4.5. Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The spread is negative 12.5 Buccaneers. I think that the Bucs are going to cover, so I'm going to go with the Bucs on this one, but if there's garbage time, which I'm expecting there to be, there's a chance that Atlanta could get some garbage time points, but our defense is really good, and so is our offense. So I feel like we're going to have a solid lead in this one. But divisional matchups are always a little tricky just because those teams tend to play each other fairly often. But the Falcons are not in the same class as the Buccaneers, so give me the Bucs in this one. Plus, that message that Tom Brady sent out with 328 in the background, oh, priceless. Call back to when he came back against the Falcons when he was down 28-3. Oh my gosh. I am here for the pettiness, Tom Brady. I am here for it. Let's go. That's hilarious. Moving on to the Dallas Cowboys versus the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are 2.5 point favorites. I really like this game. I think it should be a high scoring affair, back and forth. Even though the Cowboys lost Michael Gallup, I definitely still think this offense is going to be good, and Ezekiel Elliott is going to get back into form. And I think that the Cowboys can pull this one out. Moving on, we have the Tennessee Titans versus the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are 5.5-point favorites, and I'm actually a little nervous about this one. The Titans had a bad game last week, but I don't think that's going to continue moving forward. The problem is Russell Wilson is an absolute beast that can score on anybody, and the Titans defense doesn't scare you. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks in this one to cover, even though I'm not super confident about it. I have a feeling that there's a chance that it's closer, but I'm going to bet on Russell Wilson. I am looking out for the Titans to see how they play in this one. Is Julio Jones involved? Derrick Henry, how many yards has he had? He only had 9 last week in the first half. That was wild, and I don't think it's going to continue. Up next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites, and I'm going with those Chiefs. I'm actually kind of surprised that the line's only 3.5. I think the Chiefs are going to run away with this game, for sure. The Ravens are dinged up, they're missing a lot of their players, and Patrick Mahomes is firing on all cylinders. Easy win. And last but not least, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Detroit Lions. The Green Bay Packers are 10.5-point favorites, and they're going to cover. Aaron Rodgers has heard everybody talking all week about, his offseason, he didn't come in prepared. Now, mind you, they did look bad, so I definitely can understand the banter, but that is only going to fuel the fire of that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. So I think that the Packers get the win, and I think they get it by more than 10.5. Even if there's a lot of garbage time, I think that Aaron Rodgers can set enough of a lead where you'll be fine with that spread. And that's going to do it for the Pigskin Pick'em episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below. If you have any questions for your lineups or anything else, hit me up. I'm happy to answer your questions. Good luck in your Pigskin Pick'em. Peace.